And we're live on the Jim Masters Show, coming to you from Levity Hall. This is the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. How's everybody doing today? Are you hungry? Well, we're going to make you very hungry because we've got renowned chef Chris Tucker joining us from Los Angeles, California. Foodies Unite. JMS Levity Foodies Unite as well, because we've got a really cool episode. There is a really cool experience that's coming up as well called the V-Kind experience. We're going to talk about that, and it's going to be coming up in the fall. And we want to celebrate food. We want to celebrate good food. We want to celebrate interactive and immersive experiences. And that's what this experience that we're going to be showcasing here on this episode with Chef Chris Tucker is all about. Really exciting to have him here. Really excited to have you here as well. If this is your first time stopping by the Jim Masters Show Live series, good to have you with us. Very busy day here. We've got some thunderstorms and rain that's coming through. So if you hear any rumbles in the background, it could either be my stomach because of the conversation about food, or it's outside our building here, and you'll hear some rumbles perhaps as well. But we are going to light things up with this incredible conversation. If you are familiar with Chef Chris and you know his extraordinary experience, again, we're going to be talking about a very special event as well. One of the reasons why he's here. But a little bit about his experience, originally from the Orlando area in Florida. He's a Southern chef at heart, and Chris draws much of his culinary influences from the European style of cooking, oftentimes referring to himself as a Southern chef with a French twist. He believes that European bakers and chefs are champions of properly balanced sweets and perfectly spiced mains. He aspires daily to really connect people through food around the world. Carefully crafted with thought and passion, Chris's menus range from dessert spreads of perfectly balanced buttercreams slathered atop delicate sponge crisp biscuits with creamy curd and countless flaky pastries. Are you guys hungry yet, just in the way I'm describing this? His savory sides will make the purest of meat eaters change their ways when dining, as one of his 6-course plant-based meals sort of really satisfies those taste buds for you. He uses the best quality, locally sourced ingredients like farmers market produce and the only freshest spices available. And he spends much of his time creating and testing recipes for his private clients. Now, when Chris isn't testing, tasting, and tweaking his recipes, he can be found inspiring other bakers with his curated online content through digital platforms, on-camera appearances. In fact, he can be seen on season 4 of ABC's The Great American Baking Show. Of course, you know that on ABC, currently streaming on Hulu. And since appearing on the show, Chris has appeared on Inside Edition, California Live, ABC's On the Red Carpet, countless other live segments to demo his plant-based craft. And he was featured in Cosmopolitan magazine for Pride Month and recently provided the vegan desserts for Elton John's Oscar party, which is an annual fundraiser to help fund research ending AIDS. He also did the vegan desserts for Steven Tyler's Grammy party, which was a fundraiser for Janie's Fund. He's also CEO of Better with Butter. Yeah, I love that name, don't you? Chris believes he can bake the world a better place, one bite at a time. And with charity at his core, Chris is constantly looking for ways to partner with the local and national organizations to bring a smile and resources to people and causes in need. It really is a fantastic thing that he's doing. I know you guys are probably very hungry right now, just based on what I described. But there is also, as I mentioned, something very, very special that is coming up that we want to tell you about, that he is a part of as well. V-Kind Studios, producers of Peeled. Now, you may remember, and again, I encourage you, I know a lot of you like to watch the shows when they're live, but if you ever miss any of our episodes live, of course, you know, we wrap these episodes around my crazy schedule in television, radio, and our guests' schedules as well to make it all work and flow. You can see all of our episodes archived, so don't ever miss anything if you miss it live. The content is there. The shows are there. Enjoy yourself. Have a binge watch party and share the episodes on your social media. First time here, welcome to the show. If you want to comment, interact while the show is live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gym Masters TV. And when you do that, you can comment in the Lovity Hall chat room that we have that happens when the shows are live. Don't forget, you can also comment even when the shows aren't live or when they're archived. You can leave comments underneath all the episodes. Interact with us. We give you the rare opportunity to be interactive with all of us here at the Gym Master Show. But The Kind Studios, which is in Los Angeles, right, we're announcing this very special event that's happening. They are producers of Peeled, the first ever all-vegan cooking competition. You may remember we've had chefs from Peeled here on the Gym Master Show series. Well, they have announced that the next innovative product or project in this case, and the product, of course, is food, is the one-of-a-kind immersive experience complete with plant-based food representing countries from all around the world. And that's coming up in November 11th and 12th at the Magic Box venue in Los Angeles, California, USA. And attendees will witness a worldwide plant-based dream realized as they enjoy the sights and sounds and flavors of every continent. And the team likes to call culinary magic via 11 themed experience rooms. They have all these incredible experience rooms, and there's something for all ages as well. This will span 35,000 square feet of space at the V Kind experience as well. And the landmark event will engross attendees, and that's going to be folks coming from all around the world for this, through all 5 senses, including sound technology, touch, virtual, augmented reality, sight, 3-dimensional audio soundscapes as well, sound, and authentic cultural dishes created by top vegan chefs, smell and taste. This is just a little sampling. We've got a wonderful video here we're going to show you about this very, very special event that's coming up. We're all excited about it. I hope to get there as well. I'm going to be heading, actually, I just heard from producers with my other professional work. We're going to head to Phoenix, Arizona. We're headed to San Francisco. We're headed to, where else? Maryland. We're headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my professional work in television. So we're going all over the place. I feel like I'm on tour. But this event coming up in LA is going to be amazing. Here is an exclusive preview of the event and what you can expect. I don't think I've seen anything like this. It's going to be very exciting. So if you are a foodie or know somebody who is, check this out. And then we'll be back with our very special guest, Chef Chris Tucker, joining us from Los Angeles. Here is the preview. And we welcome live from Los Angeles, California, our very special guest, celebrity chef Chris Tucker, joining us. Chef Chris, thanks so much for joining us here on the show. It's a pleasure to have you with us on the Gym Master Show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all ours. So that looks like a really exciting, interactive, immersive, delicious event, Chef. Tell us about it and your involvement in it.
Yeah, Jim, it's going to be one of those events that people honestly, I feel like, are going to be talking about it throughout the year until we bring it back next year. So like you said, it's going to be 30,000 feet of immersive space that we're transforming here in the Magic Box that's downtown Los Angeles. And we're really trying to bridge all of these different senses that we have as people, and we're bringing them together in one specific area of the Magic Box. And so when you're thinking about like going to a food event, typically there's a few different things in the food event where you get to sample. Well, this event's going to be completely a foodie's dream. So the entire event is going to be food focused, but it's also going to encourage people to use their imagination and explore what it would be like if the entire world was a plant-based, if the entire world was a plant-based experience. So 7 different continents we're going to be exploring there. So you're going to be able to taste what it would be like if you were a plant-based eater in Asia, in Africa, over in Europe. So every single different ethnicity, every different place in the world is going to be represented here through not only a culinary experience, but also an immersive experience. And it's interesting because I was just on a call with the team before I jumped on with you, and we were really going through some of the layout, and we were going through some of the different dishes that we're creating for this experience. And it's really going to be unlike anything people have experienced before. So again, not only are you going to have all of these visual effects that people are seeing on their screen right now, but you're going to have immersive things throughout the entire event. So you might walk into the Asia experience and see, a flowering a cherry blossom tree, but you're going to be able to pick fortune cookies off of it and see what your fortune is for that day. Or you might walk into our Oceania experience where it's just going to be a world that's transformed with all these different plant-based, fish-free, beautiful dishes that you can taste. But it's going to have like live interactive mermaids throughout that room that you're going to be able to just interact with. So it's really cool because it's for the whole family. You can bring your kids and really get involved with everything that you're seeing around you.
That is so fantastic. That really, really is. And just in seeing, all of these wonderful dishes and delectable delights, it is absolutely amazing. And so, how did you get involved with it? Tell us about your involvement, Chef.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to be part of the team that did the show last year with Be Kind, and so I was one of the judges for the culinary competition show that they brought you all last year, and they asked me to come on and be their head of culinary events this year for this specific team. So my involvement is really just heading up the culinary department and making sure that everything goes as smooth as possible, but also what we're doing right now. The event is a couple months away still, but we're really hard at work developing all of these recipes that you're going to be tasting at the event, making sure that everything is authentic. I may not have all the experience in creating an authentic African dish, but we're outsourcing those to other people who are familiar with that cuisine. And so we're really taking time to make sure that that this event is just super finessed and that everything is culturally accurate, and that it's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful event, not only for the foodies that come, but also people that are coming just to experience something brand new in town.
That's incredible. Like you said, there's something for everybody, which I think is really, really amazing and really terrific. Tell us a little bit also about your experience. I mentioned better with butter. I love that as a Southern chef. How did you first get inspired to go into the world of food and cooking, and especially with this vegan influence and the wonderful pastries and baked goods?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in the restaurant industry. My grandparents, they owned a restaurant. They bought it the year I was born. They sold it the year I graduated high school. And so I really spent a lot of my developmental years as a young adolescent, like in the restaurant. And I learned a lot of the tricks of the trade, if you will, just from being in my family's environment. My other grandmother, Mimi, she was actually an avid baker. And so anytime she would come to town, she was, in the kitchen, she was baking things. And that was kind of what she was known for. And I was the only grandkid that really took a liking to being in the kitchen with her. And so I got to use all of that time and really get to know from a really young age that, this is how you make cookies. This is how you make cakes and cupcakes and brownies. And so she taught me everything that I know from the baking side of things. And then I had my other grandparents that taught me everything in the savory side of the landscape. And so I'm really fortunate in that way because I'm not somebody who went to school. I never really thought of food as being like my career trajectory. I actually moved out to Los Angeles and went to hair school and did hair for 8 years and took a completely different path as a career and realized that it wasn't what I was meant to do. It wasn't really what was bringing me joy and what I needed to be focusing on for my career. And so that's when I made the shift and started doing food. And I haven't felt like I've worked a day since.
Wow. Growing up, what were some of the exposures you had to food? What was on the plate at dinner time? And what were the desserts that were happening at your home?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, a lot of, being from the South, a lot of what we ate and a lot of like what my grandparents put out at their restaurant was fried chicken. It was carved meats. It was a lot of things that were loaded with dairy and butter. And so, I think it was for me at a very young age. I was going into about 8th grade. I went to the doctor because I got sick, and I came away from the doctor realizing that I was a little bit heavier than I should have been at that age. And I started to just kind of cut some things from my diet. And so at that point, I took away I took away pork and beef. And so that kind of started my transition into the lifestyle that I live now. But I slowly started to eliminate beef and pork. And then I slowly took away the rest of the meat and was vegetarian one day. And when I made the switch to go completely vegan, I had to change my whole business model because Better with Butter was not a vegan. It was not a vegan bakery at that time, and so I had to switch. And for product control reasons, I had to make everything vegan because I couldn't taste the things that I was preparing and testing. Unless they were going to be dairy free. And so that's when we made the full transition and became vegan and started to really, put out the product that we felt ethically inclined to be consuming at home as well.
That's fantastic. So what would you say is one of your first very important pivotal moments where people started to really notice your expertise when it comes to food and the culinary arts?
Honestly, it was my opportunity to go on the Great American Baking Show. And that was the time when I realized that I didn't want to continue doing hair anymore. And so I went on the show and I had a great time. It was a great opportunity. But I got home and I was like, you know what? I just feel like I should use this as a jumping off point to switch careers. And I started putting out recipes online and I started really amping up my Instagram involvement and really started to build that online presence and also that online community. And it was from there that people started trying my recipes. They started ordering nationwide shipping and I started to get just a little bit of that natural buzz going on in social media world. And I think that's kind of what made people take notice. And, I think when you're living in a place like Los Angeles, it's a lot more natural for just the right people to come across your product, the right people to taste your things, to just get you a little bit more exposure than you would if maybe you lived in Kansas or Florida or, what have you. So yeah, I just, I have to accredit it just to the right people being in the right place at the right time.
How'd you come up with, I love the name, Better with Butter. How'd you come up
Yeah.
with that, chef?
You know, my husband actually has family on the East Coast in Jersey, and it just came naturally one day when we heard somebody say butter one day. They kind of
Oh,
just
that's
say
how they.
butter, like butter, like. And I was like, wow, that's such a great kind of tagline. Is everything's better with butter. And I just kind of ran with it. I just thought it was, kind of a catchy, cute name, and yeah, went with it.
That's so cool. It is a great name. And we actually have some shots of some of your amazing creations at Better with Butter. Uh, what are we looking at there, chef? I'm already getting hungry. I'm getting so hungry, I had to grab a cup of coffee in the kindness, generous, supportive you mug.
I love that. Yeah,
I'd like to have a slice of that with this coffee.
This is a little unicorn cake that I actually did for a Facebook series. And I was on there. It was a dating show on Facebook, and we did this unicorn cake decorating class for the show, and taught the daters how to make this cake. So that was a really fun time.
So what is inside? If somebody slices that up, what taste sensations will start to happen for them, chef?
Yeah, this is a vanilla bean cake that's rainbow. So the layers are actually rainbowed. So when you slice it, it's really pretty inside as well. But the flavors are vanilla buttercream, and it's a vanilla bean sponge as well.
That, I tell you, you got me just at vanilla bean. That sounds so good. Here's another. Look at that. Something nice, and it looks simple, but I'm sure it isn't to do that. What do we have there, chef?
Yeah, that one I believe is like that I believe is a black forest. So the inside is going to be chocolate with your traditional cherry compote in the middle, and then it has just a beautiful buttercream. But I think a lot of people a lot of times think when you go vegan you have to give up all of this stuff because it's not great anymore. And this is just shows you that you can have whatever you want. Is still when you go vegan, there's still ways to make everything and make it beautiful and make it tasty, and still have all of those things that you crave and that you want. Just as human, we all want to eat these things that are beautiful when we look at, and we want them to be just as tasty. And that's what we're creating here with the V-Kind experience. You're going to come and you're going to have these delicious dishes throughout all of these experiential rooms that we're going to, and we're really just going to make sure that you feel like you leave there completely satiated, and you've had like just this just incredible time, but it's just been an incredible food experience as well.
Now, I won't even say anything. Look at the screen here. Oh my God. You almost don't want to slice into these things, chef. What is this?
That's just going to be a chocolate on chocolate overload. That's going to be a chocolate sponge, and it has just a beautiful like chocolate ganache on top, and then some just nice chocolate work on the top to finish that off there. But again, like you can have all of that decadence, right? All of that decadence is available, and we can do it without adding the dairy, and it's very simple.
It is. It really, really is. Hey, foodies, JMS Lovedies, if you want to comment, say hello. You can comment right now. Something we do here exclusively at the Jim Master Show, give you an opportunity to interact with one another, say hello to one another, say hello to us as well. And our very special guest, celebrity chef Chris Tucker, joining us here from Los Angeles right now, taking just a quick look at some of his amazing creations at Better with Butter. He's the CEO of that. And then, of course, we're going to talk more about the V-Kind experiences coming up in the fall. Now, this looks like a lot of fun. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that's another one that's going to be rainbow on the inside, and then it's just, this is a fun one. It's covered in sprinkles. It's this one I believe was for a child's birthday. It's just like super fun, covered in sprinkles, and will just make anybody smile when they look at it.
That is cool. And the inside can be whatever, or is there a specific inside to that?
Yeah, no, inside, that's the thing about cakes is they're all so customizable, right? Like if you want your cake to just be vanilla on the inside, amazing. If you want it to be rainbow, great. If you want chocolate, we can do it. So I think it's cakes are one of those really fun times that you can have fun like this. We've created somebody was having like a winter theme, and so they wanted like a deer, and so we took very iconic that very iconic unicorn style cake, and we just transformed it into more of a feminine style deer
Oh, cool.
for a specific party they were having.
Very, very cool. One of our viewers, and we love our viewers. We have such great viewers who watch, and we've done, it's totaling up. We're almost at 1,000 episodes of this series in like 3.5 years, which is so hard to believe. And they're very interactive, very passionate about our guests and our show. And Irish 43 asks, Chris, do you use almond milk or soy milk?
It really just depends. Soy milk has a very specific way that you have to cook with it, or it will curdle. So if you get it too high of a temperature while you're working with it, it will curdle. And so there are certain times when I use almond milk. I actually use oat milk probably the most, because if people are vegan for all different reasons. Some people are vegan for the environment. Some people are vegan for the animals. Some people are vegan for health. And so if you're vegan for the environment, a really good thing to know is almond milk takes the most amount of water to actually make. And oat milk takes the least amount of water. So when you're thinking about growing almonds, your almond trees take a long time to actually produce those nuts. Whereas oats, they don't take very much water at all to actually produce the grain to then turn into oat milk. And so oat milk is probably what I use the most in baking. And I also think it's just super creamy. So depending upon, what texture we're going for in our world of baking, it works really, really well.
When people want to know, I'm sure, what does the chef snack on when he is hungry for a snack?
Oh man, I try to keep it really, really clean and really simple. I try to eat a lot of salad. I try to eat a lot of hummus and pita and like very more healthy things, nuts and grains, because I do a lot of baking, which means I do a lot of testing. So I'm eating a lot of sugar, just by default. And so I do try to keep things pretty healthy and minimal when I'm not in the kitchen, going through testing recipes, because I have to equate for all of those extra calories that I'm going to be taking in on those days that I am vigorously testing recipes.
I mentioned too, as well, we've had folks on from Peeled, which was another incredible, unique experience as well. And following the premiere of Peeled at the Directors Guild of American Hollywood last year, the team was working hard behind the scenes to build upon that success of the well-received affair. And then they sort of made everything a reality and been testing the boundaries of audio and visual and AI capabilities to create this truly innovative landmark event, right? I mean, it's going to be immersive and interactive and just extraordinary. Even that sort of trailer that we showed in the beginning only shows a snippet of what people are going to be able to experience when they go, right?
Yeah. So if anybody watching had the opportunity to come to our premiere last year at the Directors Guild, it was incredible. Like, it was just an incredible party. Living in LA, we have the opportunity to go to these things all the time, and some of the friends that we invited to come and be part of the opening, to be part of the premiere event for the Peeled show, they were just blown away. So I hope people really can see from that event, we're expanding, and that's what we're doing for the V-Kind experience. So we really created this V-Kind experience based off of the outpour that we got from that premiere party. Like we had people that came and just said how it was the best event in LA they'd ever been to, how it was the best food that they'd ever had. Like we had so much food at this event, and it really was one of the best events that I personally had ever been to in LA. And then again, so many of my friends that are in the industry and go to events like this all the time to cover it for press or what have you, and they're like top three events I've been to. And so when we received that response, we knew we wanted to not only invite people back to a similar experience, but also take that experience and elevate it and make it something bigger. So if we knew that we could create something of, that just on that level for the premiere party, then we knew that we could really take our time and take the year to build out this experience that everyone's going to be invited to in November. And so, if you guys have been to the Van Gogh experience that's been traveling around, it was here in Los Angeles. I know it was in New York. That's going to be something like you're seeing on the screen where it's all immersive. The room is just kind of immersive around you. That's one element of the V-Kind experience. The other element that we're bringing to it is, of course, the food. The next element is going to be the immersive experience where you're going to be able to actually like touch and feel things and, maybe have, the interactive experience where you're able to touch and feel things and pull things off of trees that you're going to be able to eat. And, think about like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh boy,
So we're going to
yeah.
have a whole chocolate experience that you can go into and really think of the world as in a chocolate element that you're able to just pick up different things and eat them as you go.
That's incredible. So, I mean, to put something, this is so special. And I mean, look at that. This is so special and unique. They're working on this now, right? They're creating and building, and they're putting this all together as we speak I mean, it's just the colors and the vibrancy. It's going to be amazing. Kids will be in awe of all this too, because I know there's a kids experience too, as much as there are the African experience and the European experience and the polar experience and North American experience. Kids will absolutely go wild in this too, right?
Yeah. And so, in each room, there's going to be these elements that are going to, just be fascinating to children. But then we're going to have their own separate space just for kids. So there's going to be a whole immersive experience dedicated just to children. And then another really cool part is going to be outdoors. It's going to be November in Los Angeles, so the weather will be beautiful. And we're going to have, DJs outside, and we're going to have, different businesses that we're inviting in to showcase their products, and there'll be a marketplace there. And also just the connective tissue of the vegan sphere here in LA is always just so incredible to be around. So if you're not part of the vegan community, we want you to come and experience what it's like to not only eat foods. This is a really interesting point that just came to me, but I've heard people before at vegan events say that they're not vegan because they don't think that culturally it works for them. So, maybe some of the foods that are really specific to their cultures, they don't think really work for having a vegan diet. But I think this event's really going to show people that no matter what kind of cultural food is natural to you or what you're used to eating, there really is a plant-based alternative, and we're going to show you how to consume it.
The popularity in that style of clean eating continues to grow. What would you say to somebody, Chef Chris, who's thinking about, going in that direction, but they're unsure? They've never done it before. They hear the health benefits, the taste benefits, all the different things about it, but it's foreign to them. They've never considered diving fully in, but they are on the edge of thinking about it. What would you say as somebody who's immersed in it to encourage them to at least give it a shot and try it out?
Well, I think that, I think it's really natural for us as people to think that we have to be perfect at everything that we do.
Mm,
And so go into this, first of all, knowing that there's no perfect vegan, right? Like every vegan accidentally has something that's not vegan every once in a while. But you don't always have to go into a lifestyle like this and make a hard jump into it. I think the best way to approach it is to maybe think about what's in your diet right now that you can start making some simple swaps into. So maybe you're somebody who eats a lot of dairy. Dairy is a really easy one to switch now. There's a ton of things on the market that make it really simple and delicious to swap into your, just your current situation with food. You can bring in oat milk instead of regular dairy milk. You can bring in almond milk. You can bring in flaxseed milk or hemp milk. There's a ton of different milk alternatives to bring in instead of your dairy milk. There's also so many beautiful cheeses on the market nowadays that you can really just swap in your dairy consumption for a plant-based alternative and start there. It's really, really, you can make it really easy for yourself if you just really break down the barriers. And the barriers are really something that I think we put on ourselves because we go into these things and we think that, we're gonna do a vegan diet. Being vegan isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle. And so if we're wanting to switch our lifestyle in terms of the way we eat, it's best to do that slowly because that's how you're going to set yourself up for success. It's also really important to think about what we have available to us on the market. There's incredible products that are in your local grocery store, no matter where you live. They're just available now by the masses. And so if you're somebody that, like, let's say you eat chicken Parmesan once a week at home because your family just loves it. Instead of using regular chicken, you can go to your freezer section in your grocery store and buy the plant-based alternative for chicken. There's tons of them out there. They're all really tasty. Some are better than others, but for the most part, they're all really good. And you can make your chicken Parmesan the way you normally would, but you're just going to have your plant-based chicken instead of your chicken that was once an animal. So I think, it's really taking it and breaking it down and making simple swaps instead of trying to jump in head first and, driving yourself literally insane. And then possibly not being successful at the end of the day because it just seems like a task.
So the experience again is really something that I know people are really buzzing about. Tell us about some of the folks that will be there.
Yeah, so we're going to have an entire celebrity engagement that's coming. So a lot of people that are in the plant-based world, a lot of your celebrity influencers in the plant-based movement will be there. A lot of celebrities in general. If you guys were at our Peeled event, a lot of those
Yes.
celebrities will be there. And then again, more of them than were at our premiere will also be there because this is something that hasn't been done before. So they're all eager to come out and see, what's going on.
That's fantastic, huh? So you're
Yeah,
going to have folks from all different backgrounds and disciplines and everything who are going to be checking it out and they're going to be approachable and they'll be right there. People can chat with them and more, right? Ask questions.
definitely. And then that's another part too of the experience. We're going to have several different spots throughout the experience where there's going to be live performances and dancers. And it's just going to be kind of like if you've ever been to Epcot for like around the world for one of their food events, it's going to be very much similar, but in an air conditioned environment. So that'll be fun.
It almost sounds like a mini World's Fair, just in all the different continents and cuisines and all the lights and color that are going to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really one of those epic things for your mind to take it all in at once. So yes, it's definitely something that people want to get tickets to early because we are expected to sell out very soon. So we want people to get on to the vkindexperience.com and get your tickets as soon as possible, because even though the event's in November, Los Angeles events sell out very quickly, and we've already seen a couple thousand tickets sold. So we want people to really get on and take advantage of these pre-sale tickets, because we are working with a capacity, because we are having it at a venue. We are going to be working with the capacity and fire codes, so we want people to jump on and get those tickets soon.
I tell you, it's going to be an event that people are going to be talking about for such a long time afterwards, and probably might even become, an annual situation too. I don't doubt. This is really so incredibly exciting. What is it about food for you that speaks to your heart and soul? We've had chefs on our show. We had Chef Jacques Pepin, who's a dear friend of mine. He was with us recently, and several others. And through my work in public television, I've had an opportunity to do a lot of different chefs on TV, and they're so passionate and creative, but each have their own unique take on things. And for you, what is it about what you do that speaks to your heart and soul in the world of food, Chef Chris?
I think when I think back to food and kind of what has always got me so interested in it, and what's always gotten me so immersed in food culture, is that it brings people together, right? Like when you're thinking at the end of the day, you all sit with your family at the table, or you sit with just your significant other. It might be the only time during the day that you've come together and actually sat down and had conversation, and really, been able to discuss, how things are going throughout the day. Whenever we're with family, coming together for these big family meals is like, it's the food that brings us all together. And I think that's just really consistent when you think about food. Sure, we use it to nourish our bodies and, to give us energy to go throughout the day. And but it's really larger than that. When you think about any event that you go to, or celebrate a birthday or anniversary party or a wedding, it's always the food that you are sitting down and conversing over, and it's the food that you remember from events, if it was good food. But it's really about coming together for me, and really just having a positive impact somehow.
Mm. How about cookbooks? Are they in the offing for you?
Yeah, there's always chatter about a cookbook. It's something that takes a lot of time. It's something that takes a lot of dedication, and I feel like when the time is right, I will just know that, I'll know that it's time, and I'll also feel like I have the opportunity now. I have the time to sit down. I have the focus to sit down and really just, crank this thing out. And that hasn't happened yet. And I feel like when it's supposed to, it will.
When you feel it and when the time is right. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you get to travel a lot?
I would say that I need to do a lot more traveling, and I think that's another thing in the food space that's also very important, is trying out different cultural cuisines. I'm very fortunate to live in Los Angeles, where there's so many different cuisines and cultures to experience in one city. But I would like to travel more to experience some of those, maybe traditions around food, and experience some of those, food cultures in a true, authentic, and immersive way. So kind of what we're doing with the Be Kind experience, I want to do in real life. But I haven't traveled a ton as of yet. Spent some time in Europe, spent some time in Mexico. Of course, we're very close, so we spend a lot of time there when we can. But definitely have to do a lot more traveling.
What is your, of course, we're talking about vegan, but what is your go-to aside from just specifically vegan in terms of the cultures? Do you like Italian? Do you like French? Do you like Spanish? What is it for you?
I mean, I love like a great Mexican meal, but I really enjoy cooking Asian food. I love doing, different types of dumplings. I love doing
Mm.
different noodle dishes, but I'm really, really drawn to like just Asian seasonings and spices and just the flavor combinations of traditional Asian cuisine is really one thing that I love.
Have you done any teaching at all too, mentoring and teaching others? Obviously, you've learned. Um, that paying it forward and inspiring others because like you say food is very universal, it's a universal language just like music is, and we talk about that on the show a lot, and it brings people together on so many different occasions, and just in life it's a great icebreaker, it's nourishing. I mean, there's so many benefits to having it around, of course, the right kind. Tell us a little bit about some of that.
Yeah, I do teaching in a virtual setting quite often. We
Oh, it's
do,
great.
we'll do a lot of just Instagram videos that we put out with recipes. I do a lot of them with my friend Chef Babette. She was also on Peeled, and she's also going to be doing some of the curating of the raw experience that we'll have
Ooh.
at the V Kind experience. So she'll be, doing this with us. But her and I do videos quite often where people come in, or where her and I teach recipes on Instagram. But there's a couple of events coming up later this year. Her and I are both going to be at the Veg Fest in Orange County teaching some cooking classes. And then we're going to also be in New York doing some cooking classes as well. So we try to get out and do those opportunities just as often as they come. And also I do a lot of things with the Tastemade streaming channel. And so I'll get on there and do, cooking classes for them and bring in that vegan element because it's not a heavy focus for them. And so I bring in the vegan sprinkle of veganism to them as well.
That's fantastic. That is
Yeah,
great. So you get a lot of joy and pleasure out of what you do, don't you, chef?
I do. I really enjoy it. And I think for me, it's all about breaking down those barriers that people have about going vegan and about, cooking or transitioning their everyday meals into a vegan meal. And I think, I was talking a little bit about this earlier, but we kind of put these guardrails up. We put these roadblocks up in our brain about what we have the capabilities of doing. And a lot of what I like to teach people is just getting rid of those and bringing certain little swaps into their diets that can really have a big change, not only for their health, but for the environment. And then of course, for the animals.
That's the other part of this as well, is the animals too. And if you are an animal lover and advocate, this is a beautiful thing to be a part of as well, isn't it? On so many different levels.
Yeah. And I think too, part of it is a lot of it is education, right? Like a lot of us don't know, a lot of us are unaware of where basically where our food comes from and what the process is to get the food from where it is to our table. And so I think with a lot of things in life, it's about educating yourself and getting more educated just in general.
Exactly right. Exactly. So let's talk about that event again. It's going to be very, very exciting. Here is again the website vkindexperience.com. It's coming up in November 11th and 12th. It's a 2-day immersive experience, isn't it, Chef?
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-day experience. We're going to have one day prior to the experience where we're going to do like a whole press event. So we'll have all the press come out and do kind of a soft run through with them. And then we'll have the event open to the public on Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be, again, 11 different immersive rooms with 7 different continents that we're going to be featuring, and just really exploring what it's like to be plant-based all over the world and what those different cuisines look like on a plant-based diet. And so it's going to be a really cool, really fun place to be this coming November. And we're going to also be having this really cool polar room, which is going to be by the kids experience, but it's going to be where you can go in and it's going to be all ice cream and dessert oriented. It'll be down by the chocolate experience, of course. And so, yeah, everywhere you go here is just going to be something exciting and different and new, and definitely something that's never been done before.
That is fantastic. Well, congratulations on all of this, Chef. This was really a terrific conversation, not only finding out about the experience, the V-Kind experience coming up in November, but also a little bit more about you and Better with Butter. And you're also, you get hired out for private parties and a lot of other like corporate events and a lot of different things with your own company, right?
Yeah, so primarily I am a private chef here in Los Angeles, and that's kind of my primary work that I do, aside from doing these larger events with the team from V-Kind and other companies. I am primarily a private chef, so that's kind of my day-to-day 9 to 5, if you will, and then I do all of this other stuff on the side as fun. So yeah.
That's fantastic, Chef. Well, thanks so much for, again, spending time with us today and joining us on the Jim Masters Show live. We sincerely appreciate your time. I know it's a very busy time for you as well. And do you have something in the oven as we speak?
There's always something in the oven at this house, but yeah. And I would just encourage everyone to, follow V-Kind on Instagram and keep up with, what we're doing for the experience that's going to be coming up. You can also follow me, Vegan Chef Chris Tucker, on Instagram as well. But V-Kind is the people that are going to be putting it on with myself, and you can follow both of us for all the updates coming up about the event in November.
That's fantastic. And here you go, gang, vkindexperience.com. Our very special guest, the CEO of Better with Butter. And you go to betterwithbutter.com. There's the website right there. And of course, he's a part of this incredible experience that's coming up in California and Los Angeles. vkindexperience.com to learn more. Chef, thanks so much for joining us on the show. It was a real pleasure. Really appreciate it. And it was terrific. Our viewers here, thank you, Chef Chris, for being here. Your event sounds out of this world. Good luck in all you do in the future. Thank you for being here. You're very, very welcome. And Jane in Sweden has a question. I have a question. Why does everyone who is vegan always say or think meat eaters don't like animals? That's an interesting question. I don't think they all think that at all.
Oh no, I mean the thing is I've been an animal lover and advocate since I was young. And so I think most people love animals. Yes. I just don't think people really connect loving animals with the way we eat. I don't think, that's it.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Chefs, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Really a pleasure. We appreciate it so very much, and continued success with everything that you're doing. And you're welcome back. We'll keep the porch light on for you to come back anytime you like. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you.
Well, thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you again.
All right. You take care and be well. Thanks for everything.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Chef Chris Tucker joining us here on the show. A real pleasure to have him on the show as well. And thank you for joining us on the Jim Masters Show live series as well. Always great to have you with us. Let's see, more comments coming in here. Thanks for all these great comments. We appreciate you being with us as well. Have a terrific day, everybody. And again, if you'd like to learn more about that experience coming up, vkindexperience.com is the website. For all of us here, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, if you enjoyed this episode and all the episodes that we do here, do give us a thumbs up like. There is a thumbs up icon that's on the YouTube channel under all the episodes. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Don't forget to, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, we would love that. Thanks to all who have. If you would like to comment, feel free. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss any of our episodes here on the Jim Masters Show Live. For all of us, thanks for being with us. You have a terrific day, and we love having you here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Cheers.